All right, let's get right into it. That mandatory Part 1 essay in the CAE exam, it can feel like a pretty massive hurdle, right? But what if I told you there's a clear blueprint to follow? A step-by-step guide to writing an essay that doesn't just pass, but actually gets you top marks. Well, that's exactly what we're going to build today. So here's the big question. How do you go from good enough to writing something that genuinely impresses the people marking it? It's not about being some kind of literary genius. Nope. It's about understanding the game and knowing exactly what the examiners are looking for to hand out those maximum points. And here's the secret to the whole game. Your final score is broken down into 4 perfectly equal parts: content, communication, organization, and language. Each one is worth a quarter of your total score. So you see, success isn't some kind of magic trick. It's just about hitting specific targets in each of these 4 areas. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the absolute foundation of any great essay, the structure. You could have the most amazing argument in the world, but if it's not built on a solid, logical framework, it's just going to fall apart. So let's start with the architecture. Every single high-scoring essay is built around these 3 parts. It's that simple. You've got your introduction, which is all about grabbing their attention. Then you have the body paragraphs where you build your case. And finally, the conclusion, where you drive your point home. Let's break down how to nail each one. Now, here is a golden rule for your intro, and I know it might sound a little weird. Do not state your main opinion right at the start. Why? Well, think about it. If you give the whole game away in the first paragraph, the examiner has no reason to get invested in the journey of your argument. You want to build a little suspense, guide them through your thinking. So if you're not supposed to state your opinion, what are you supposed to do? How do you make sure the examiner is hooked from that very first line? Well, you need a powerful opening, a hook. And luckily, there are a few proven ways to do this. You could ask a really thought-provoking question, or maybe hit them with a surprising statistic that makes them sit up and take notice. Referencing something from the news works great too, or you could state a common belief that you're about to challenge. Just look at this example. It doesn't just say a fact. It uses a striking statistic to immediately show why this topic matters and creates a sense of intrigue. I mean, that is so much more compelling than just saying something like international travel is popular. All right, let's move on to the body paragraphs. Every single body paragraph needs to have a crystal clear purpose, and that is the job of the topic sentence. It's the very first sentence, and it basically acts like a signpost, telling the reader, hey, this is what this paragraph is going to prove. Getting this right is the key to that high score in organization. And to make sure those paragraphs all connect smoothly, you need these little guys, cohesive devices. Words like furthermore, nevertheless, for instance, they're like the glue that holds your entire essay together. And using a good variety of them doesn't just make your writing flow better. It's a direct way of showing the examiner that you have excellent organizational skills. And finally, the conclusion. Your job here is to wrap it all up with a punch. You start by quickly summarizing your key points. Now is the moment to finally state which argument you believe is the most important or persuasive. And to leave a really lasting impression, end with a little food for thought, maybe a warning or a prediction for the future. Okay, so our structure is solid. Now it's time to power up that next 25%, language. This is where you really get to show off and elevate your essay from just good to absolutely great by using some more sophisticated grammar and vocabulary. This comparison makes it so obvious. Just by changing up your sentence starter, not always leading with the subject, you create a much more complex and engaging rhythm. Notice how the sentence on the right immediately sounds more formal, more advanced. It's a game changer. So, how do we do that? Well, one of the most impressive techniques you can use is called inversion. This is where you literally flip the normal word order of a sentence to add emphasis. And trust me, it's a true sign of advanced English proficiency. Take a look at this. Instead of the basic, technology has not only changed our lives, this inverted version not only has technology changed, is grammatically way more complex and stylistically so much more powerful. Examiners absolutely notice stuff like this. Next up, strong collocations. Now, all this means is using words that naturally sound good together, like saying heavy rain instead of strong rain. Using these advanced and less common word pairings shows a really deep understanding of the language. It's not just about knowing individual words. For instance, instead of saying a good reason, you could say a compelling reason. Instead of a big increase, try a sharp increase. These little shifts in vocabulary show you have a real C1 level command of English, and they make your points sound way more precise and impactful. And our final language technique is the impersonal passive. Look, in a formal essay, you want to sound objective and academic, so using phrases that take your personal opinion out of it, getting rid of I think, is absolutely key to getting that formal tone right. Using phrases just like these, it is often discussed that, or it is highly debatable whether, lets you present arguments and common beliefs in a really formal, impersonal way. This is perfect for your introduction or when you're talking about a counterargument. So, we've covered structure and we've covered language. Now for the final and maybe the most critical step. Before you put that pen down, you have to run through a quick mental checklist to make sure you've hit all the key points for a top score. And here it is, your final 10-point checklist. Before you hand that paper in, just mentally scan your essay with these points in mind. Is the flow logical? Did you use inversion? Is the word count right? Seriously, taking just 1 minute to do this can be the difference between a good score and a truly great one. So there you have it, the complete blueprint for a high-scoring essay. It's not about magic, it's all about method. You have the structure, you have the language techniques, and you have the final checklist. The only question left is, with these tools in your pocket, what compelling argument will you make?